And for Charlton, the crisis continues. The club, which once had an average gate of over 40,000, has debts of over £1 million and is faced with imminent closure. This was the happy scene 18 months ago, Mark Hullier taking over as chairman from Michael Glixton. Hullier, on the left, is now in the bankruptcy court after pouring £300,000 of his own money into the club. Glixton, owed £500,000 by Charlton, has a closure order against the club, and it was that order that was adjourned in Leeds and not dropped, as some sources reported today. Well, also in the last 18 months, there was the arrival and departure of Alan Simonson, plunging the club into deeper financial crisis. So what's it been like for the players and fans caught in this nightmare? A report now from Simon Reed.
In the 30s, the Valley was the epitome of success. The team were runners-up in the First Division. 70,000 plus flocked to see their heroes. On Saturday, the visitors Barnsley attracted a meagre 4,500. The average for the season, the lowest in the club's history. Every penny was counted in.
50 picture for red, 50. Thank you, and the next, please.
Despite the traumas, there's still a distinct fighting spirit. But what can it be like for the faithful few turning up on Saturdays knowing each game could be the last? Aren't they worried?
Of course I'm worried. I'm hopeful that it won't. I'm thinking of kiddies like this and the younger supporters to think what they might do.
If they do go out, it'll be the end of Saturdays for a lot of people, a lot of fun. Just can't really think about it until it happens.
Each day you open the newspaper and you turn to the sports pages and there's something different.
We do feel sometimes that publicities are somewhat adverse towards Charlton. We would like a few more encouraging signs in the newspapers and the media in general.
I feel sorry for the club, actually, in some respects. I think they deserve better, and they deserve better from the people who've been in charge of them for the last 2 or 3 years.
I definitely fear for the future of the club, because I believe that there's something sinister going on, that it may be probable that this ground will be sold for either a hypermarket or property development in flats or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's remarkable the critical situation it is at the present time, the way the present manager and his staff and the players as well performing. It's really remarkable.
Charlton are unbeaten at home this season, lying 7th in the Second Division. But Ronnie Moore, scorer of 2 of Charlton's 3 goals on Saturday, highlights the club's problem. They signed him from Rotherham for £30,000, but so far haven't paid a penny. Rotherham now want him back. His career is in limbo.
I've come here to try and get the people to come and watch us play. Obviously, Lenny's brought me here to get a few goals, and obviously that's what supporters nowadays want to see, is goals. And I hope that in my time that I'm here, I can get a few goals and maybe get 3,000 or 4,000 through the gate as well.
But how's it affected your life? Because you lead almost a double life now, don't you?
Well, that's right. I mean, I train more at the moment with the Rotherham players because I train Monday to Wednesday with Rotherham. Then I travel down Wednesday night and I train with the lads here on Thursday and Friday.
I sold Steve White to Bristol Rovers to pay for Ronnie Moore. That was my idea. There was a little 2 or 3 week gap in between the 2 deals. I sold Steve White first, and I knew that with that money, I could buy Ronnie Moore. Now the problem was, in the meantime, when this winding up order was issued, our bank account was frozen. So at the time there was money available to pay Ronnie Moore, to pay Rotherham for Ronnie Moore, but we were unable to use it. And since that time, that situation's remained the same. I mean, all we've been able to do is pay the wages. In actual fact, we offered Rotherham £12,500. That's a little while ago, through what means that we were able to, but they turned it down.
While Moore takes the limelight, Charlton's longest-serving player is Les Berry. After 10 years at the club, this is his testimonial year.
The players have in general just got on with the job and not worried about it. I think probably when they've gone home they've worried about it a little bit, but in general when we're at the ground we concentrate on our work and that's been it.
Does it matter to the players if a club went out of business?
It would matter to the players, yeah, because they're living. We've all got wives and children.
But would it sadden you about Charlton? I mean, if you got another job very quickly?
I mean, it would for me because I've been here a long time. I was born only down the road, so it has been part of my life, if you like.
I've always been able to tell the players before it hits the papers what exactly has gone on, and I think that the players have respected that honesty and that information. We've kept the problems out of the changing room as much as we can, and consequently things have gone reasonably well.
It's almost like a Dunkirk spirit here.
Yeah, I think if I'd have had a different set of players, we could have been in real trouble. I mean, if they're pretty genuine characters. They're not the greatest side in the world, but as I say, they're pretty good characters. But with a different set of players, it could have been really sticky.
It's not only the manager and the players under threat. Everyone connected with the club is worried. Can the new chairman give any assurance?
Just at this time, it would be quite wrong to give them a categoric assurance about the future of Charlton. But having said that, the events of the last few days have given us reason to be hopeful that the club will survive and will continue to play football at the Valley.
So a note of financial optimism at last, and as long as the football at the Valley is as exciting as it was on Saturday, here's the late winner from Kevin Smith. All involved in the game will be hoping that the club can be saved.
I don't want to see it go because it's a way of life to me. I don't know what I would do if the club was to fold up. I don't want to, and I'm hoping that it won't. So, if I could help them financially, I think if I won the pools, I think I'd be coming along here and giving half of them to help them out of trouble.
They might yet come to that. Today's news is that the winding up order is adjourned indefinitely, and Michael Glixton will listen to any reasonable offer.
Bruins case involves debts of over £1 million. Their chairman has yet to persuade the court that they too can pay off their creditors. After a year of financial difficulties, the club can hardly have been encouraged by their game on Saturday against Sheffield Wednesday, despite their consolation goal.
Charlton, to their credit, have kept going. Smith, Robinson offside. No! Moore! And Sheffield Wednesday angry as Ronnie Moore does a victory jig.
Well, Charlton and Hartlepool aren't the only clubs with money problems, and the Football League are worried that the fall of one club could affect the fortunes of others. With me now is the manager of Fulham Football Club, Malcolm MacDonald. Malcolm, how many clubs have got serious financial problems at the moment?
The vast majority of the 92 in the Football League, I would think, Richard.
Why has that come about? Is it purely bad housekeeping?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a number of events that have caused it. One is that crowds have dropped over the last few years, in fact, probably over the last decade and a half. I think that bad negotiating on behalf of the Football League has kept a great amount of money away from the game, particularly with the pools companies. They've been paying vast fortunes in taxes, and yet only a few thousand have found its way back into the game to each club, and that clubs, they really seem to have had their birthright sold from underneath them, I think.
Well, is the league doing anything to improve the situation?
Not in the cases of Hartlepool and Charlton Athletic, I don't think.
Why has it come about also? Because you see, why were they allowed to overdraw so much from their local banks? Well, the local managers thinking, well, we've got to keep them going because they're good value for the
bank
town.
Managers will secure every penny of the bank's money that they loan out, and so that clubs have tied up all of their assets, and the transfer market has greatly diminished over the last few years, and so there isn't the money circulating within the game, and each club now really has to fend on its own.
Is there a case for whittling down clubs to the extent that one should represent perhaps a bigger area? I'm thinking of Bristol, where there's the City and the Rovers teams. Really, the City can't support two teams like that.
I think there is indeed quite a strong case in certain areas of the country for this. If we take London, for example, this is one area where perhaps it wouldn't be supported because we have something like 11 clubs in London with 11 million people to watch, and yet on percentage our gates are very low, but we do seem to hold our own financially. We've got in West London 3 clubs, Chelsea, Queen's Park Rangers and Fulham, all in the one borough. It's the only borough to have 3 league clubs, but we do all get rather good gates, and we are able to look after ourselves reasonably. But in a great many areas of the country, yes, I think that there is possibly the opening net here for the Football League to assess.
At their Valley ground, £1,000 in instalments. And so Judge Justice Mervyn Davis had no alternative, he said, but to make a winding up order. So Charlton, once of the First Division and FA Cup winners, may have played their last match. Well, tonight there's been a crisis meeting at the Valley, and Mark Hullier and manager Lenny Lawrence have come straight to our studios from that meeting. Mark, first of all, what happened at that meeting tonight?
Basically, the meeting this evening was just to put to the manager formally, from my point of view, and also the club secretary, what the position is, what I plan to do over the next 48 hours, 72 hours, but really just to put them fully in the picture.
Well, one plan obviously is to find a lot of money, over £100,000 saved by Friday. Now, how are you going to do that?
The intention at the moment is, although the decision today went much to my surprise and our legal advisor's surprise against us, is to make an application for a rescission of the decision today. That hearing, we hope, will be heard on Thursday. Failing that, there's another lifeline, so to speak, in that we would appeal against, or I'm lodging tomorrow an appeal against today's decision. But by Thursday morning, we have to come up with some kind of settlement to, or satisfactory to the Inland Revenue, so that we can go into court on Thursday, if we so decide, and apply for that rescission and hopefully put things as they were, and we continue to exist.
In other words, if anyone wants to save Charlton, they've got to move in fairly quickly and tell you about it.
Yes, absolutely. The time for talking or thinking about helping and has gone. We're past that stage. Charlton basically has 72 hours, and if people are interested in the club and capable of doing something, then I hope they contact us tomorrow.
Are you surprised that the Inland Revenue didn't accept your proposal today of 3 instalments of their money?
Shocked. Totally shocked. There's no commercial attitude at all in the decision today. They were offered £108,000 basically over the next 9-10 days. They decided that they wanted the whole £108,000 today. It's not possible to pay them today. They were offered £36,000 today. They felt that that they would prefer, basically, to have nothing rather than £36,000. I was totally shocked by it.
Lenny, if I can come to you now, I mean, you're obviously distressed about this situation as well, but what do you think the players feel about it?
Well, the players trained this morning and I discussed the various possibilities that might occur this afternoon with them. At the time that they left, we weren't aware that the club had actually been wound up. Obviously, it's their livelihood. And I should be speaking to them all individually tomorrow and keeping them informed. But I should imagine they're very concerned, as indeed I am.
I mean, there's a story that they haven't been paid for a month, although I gather that they are paid monthly, and that's only due now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an exaggeration. As you say, Charlton players are paid monthly. That money was due to be paid today or yesterday, and hasn't been. And really, we're only running 1 or 2 days late, not a month, as has been suggested in the papers.
Will they get paid, Mark?
Definitely.
There's no problem about that at all?
No, the players would definitely be paid. All the staff will definitely be paid regardless of the outcome of the next 48 hours, 72 hours. They've been tremendous, and there will be no problem. They will certainly be paid.
What about this game on Saturday against Blackburn? I mean, it's imperative, obviously, so far as the Football League are concerned, Lenny, that that match is played.
Yeah, we have to prepare for the game as best we can. As I understand it, in order for us to retain our Football League membership, whoever the owners may be, we have to fulfil that fixture on Saturday, and that is where the rush comes. I mean, you know, we have got, as the chairman says, 72 hours in order to put something together, whether it's through this rescission or whether it's through a new company being formed or whatever. It's got to be done very, very quickly.
In a word, Mark, I mean, you're a lifelong Charlton fan. What does it cost you personally, all this?
Well, a lot of strain and a lot of worry, but financially, from the company's point of view, it's in the region of about £370,000. But that's not as important as keeping Charlton afloat, and that will be wiped off if necessary to keep the club going for any new people to take over.
Sitting here this moment on a Tuesday night, do you think that match will be played on Saturday, and do you think Charlton will continue to live?
I'm hopeful that if people adopt the right attitude and they have the club's interests at heart and they come forward in time, then there'll be no doubt about the match being played on Saturday.
Mark Hullier, Lenny Lawrence, thanks very much for coming in, and good luck to both of you.
Thank you.